guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am back with another Jersey Shore Family Vacation Season 3 review. This review is for episode 25, so if you did not watch my review for episode 24, please go get all caught up on that, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. And let's just get right into this review because so much happened in just this one episode. So as you know, if you watched last week's episode, Paulie and Jenny got really cozy with each other at the club while they were celebrating Angelina's bachelorette party, and then they ended up going upstairs to the hotel room, getting cozy in bed together. Now, they did not end up hooking up, although everybody wanted them to hook up, including myself. I think that they would be good together, and so I wanted them to hook up, but it did not end up happening because it just wasn't the right time. Paulie wanted to, but he wanted to make sure Jenny was sure about it because Jenny has never been single. Like, she's always in a relationship, and anytime he wants to hook up with her, she's already with somebody else. And her and 24 had just recently broke up, so he didn't know whether or not if he hooked up with her on this particular date that she would be right back with him again, and then he just kind of left there in the dust, and he has to feel uncomfortable around 24 because he slept with Jenny. So it did not end up happening between the two of them. Actually, Jenny wants to hook up with Paulie, but she doesn't want to just be a hookup, because when they were filling in Snooki on what happened the previous night, because we all know Nicole was drunk, okay? She was at the bar sleeping in the chair, and they had to carry her into the party bus, okay? So they're filling in Snooki on what happened at the club and what happened between Paulie and Jenny. And Snooki basically thinks that Jenny's taking it too seriously and that she should just hook up with Paulie, but she doesn't want to be just another hookup to Paulie. She wants to actually talk to him. She wants to be treated differently than the other girls that he hooks up with, which I think he would treat her differently. I don't think he would treat her the same way he treats any other girl, because they actually have a connection with each other. So hopefully one day the two of them will hook up with each other, but right now we know that she is back with 24. Jenny also lets Nicole know that Angelina told her last night that she replaced her in her wedding, okay? The two of them were not talking. They were into it about the whole 24 situation, and so Angelina took Jenny out of the wedding and asked one of her other friends to take her place. So the reason why this conversation came up is because Nicole was talking about how she needs to go back to Jersey so that she can get fitted for her dress for the wedding, and Jenny was saying how she didn't know she was going to have to go back and get fitted because she doesn't even know she's still going to be in the wedding. Now, she's going to have a conversation with Angelina about this at some point, although I don't necessarily think Angelina was wrong for jumping the gun and telling Jenny that she was no longer in the wedding and replacing her with somebody else, because obviously the way that they were getting into it, it was a really messy situation, and so I can understand Angelina's point of view and why she decided to take Jenny out of the situation, although Jenny's just going to have a conversation with Angelina to figure out the whole thing. So it was a little bit awkward between Jenny and Paulie the next day when they all ended up meeting up together again, because all the roommates continuously made jokes about the two of them about to hook up with each other the previous night, and they were joking around talking about how Paulie had a twinkle in his eye when he was looking at Jenny, and so it definitely was a little bit awkward, although it's really cute that there's something between the two of them, and maybe, just maybe, if Jenny and 24 don't work out, you know, the way that the psychic said, then maybe her and Paulie will have a shot to give it a try with each other, and hopefully it doesn't end up turning into a messy situation, because then it would be awkward for all the other roommates as well. Now, they end up joking about Angelina stealing Jenny's swag, okay, because we know that Jenny was always wearing long dark hair, glasses, and she wore like a cute little sweater and some leggings all the time, and that's exactly how Angelina was dressed. And Vinny joked that putting Jenny and Angelina together dressed in the same exact outfit is almost like, you know, how you see it online versus how you see it when it arrives. And I thought that was funny that he said that. He's always coming at Angelina some type of way, although sometimes Angelina probably is bothered about the way that they come at her. I just think that that's her place within the group. Now, everybody was packing to leave. They're all going back home, and it's literally about to be Angelina's wedding, so everybody's trying to have the discussion about what's going to go down, and Angelina and Jenny end up sitting down and finally having the conversation about whether or not Jenny's going to be in the wedding. Now, Angelina did tell her that she found somebody else to take her place and that her dress was given away to her other friend who's taking Jenny's place because the girl could actually fit the dress, and so she said that she's going to call the bridal shop and try to get another dress for Jenny so that Jenny can be a part of the wedding again. And the conversation seemed to go well. They were mature about the whole thing. Jenny is going to be in the wedding, and so I think it all was resolved properly, and at least they didn't have to fight each other with wine bottles this time. Angelina and Chris only have 7 days left at this moment for their wedding, and so they're trying to get the rest of their planning done. They end up going to Park Chateau because that is where Angelina wants the wedding to be at, and it's actually a very beautiful location. She chose very well. And while they were having the conversation with the people to try to figure out what type of food, what type of flowers, and all the setup for the wedding, Chris wasn't really saying anything because he's a guy, he doesn't really care about the decorations for the wedding. He just really cares about the food, which is what he actually participated in, although Angelina was getting annoyed at him because he wasn't very present while they were trying to plan the wedding. But he is a guy, and like I said before, they're more interested in what kind of food is going to be at the wedding than what type of flowers is going to be there. So since everything has been going well for Mike and Lauren, the two of them decide to purchase a new home and move out of their apartment that they were living in. And Mike seems excited to start this new chapter in his life because, a lot of bad things went down when they were living at their apartment. They had to figure out whether or not he was going to go to jail and how long he was going to be in jail if he actually did. And then he did end up getting locked up, and Lauren was stuck in that apartment by herself with just the dog. And so now the two of them are moving into a brand new house, and it's actually really beautiful. It's huge though, like huge, and it's just them and their dog. The dog looked really excited too because it looked like a lot of running room for him to run around in. So I'm happy for the two of them. Although Mike struggled to try to get the front door open, she had to hand him the flowers for the house so that she could open the door. So obviously Mike's gonna have to learn how to work the door to his own house. Now, as Angelina and Chris continue to plan their wedding, they clearly have communication issues. They kind of yell and bicker at each other rather than actually sit down and hear each other out. Although I do think that their marriage can actually work out if they learn to listen to each other and try not to yell every time they're trying to express themselves. A lot of times in relationships, we kind of don't really want to hear what the other person has to say. We kind of just want to be right. And so we don't necessarily listen. We kind of just wait for them to be done talking so that we can say what we have to say. And that's what it seems like goes on between Angelina and Chris. And I think if they can figure out how to communicate with each other more effectively, I think everything will be fine in their relationship. So Vinny has a sweet idea for Angelina's wedding to make it a little bit more special. He wants to come up with a dance routine for the guys to do for Angelina's wedding because they did it at Mike's wedding and it was something special that they did. And so he wants to do the same for Angelina, which I think is a sweet gesture because, she never really feels welcome into the Jersey Shore family, really. And so he has his mom and Uncle Nino come over to film him doing the dance so that he can send the video to the guys so that they can learn the routine. And he calls Uncle Nino a Guido version of Indiana Jones because of the outfit that he was wearing. And the description that he gave was perfect. He actually did look like a Guido Indiana Jones. Now, they tried to film Vinny doing the dance moves, and then Uncle Nino ended up jumping in trying to do the dance moves, and this dude was trying to twerk. I was like, I don't know what type of dance this is going to be at this woman's wedding, but hopefully they get it right and don't ruin it, because if they do, Angelina will go off like a rocket. So Ron and Mike end up going to meet up at the gym because we all know that, Mike doesn't want to be BDS anymore. He wants to keep his body in shape. He does not want to go back to the way he was before he went to jail. And so they go to the gym. They're having a good workout. And then all of a sudden they start talking about the whole Paulie and Jenny almost hooking up situation. Okay. Now Ron thinks that Paulie and Jenny should hook up, as do I. Okay. But Mike had a different perspective. He doesn't think it would be a good idea if they hook up with each other, because if one of them end up catching feelings for each other and it doesn't end up working out, everyone's going to have to choose sides, okay? And obviously the girls are going to end up taking Jenny's side and the boys are going to end up taking Paulie's side, and then it's going to be divided. And that's exactly what happened with the whole Ron and Sam thing. And I just don't think that Mike wants to deal with another Ron and Sam situation. And so that's probably the reason why he doesn't think it's a good idea for them to hook up. Although I think Paulie and Jenny are different from Ron and Sam. I don't think it would be the same situation. They're grown, they're adults, and I think that, they would figure out something if they did decide to talk to each other. So all the roommates end up showing up to Mike and Lauren's house because Mike and Lauren want to give them the tour, okay? His house is huge and it's really, really nice, but Mike needs to learn how to use the stuff in his house because he didn't know what any switch was for and he didn't know what any button was for. He was just pressing shit, didn't even know what it was for. So he's definitely going to have to take a few days to try to figure out what everything is used for in his house. Now, they sit down with the roommates to have a very serious conversation with them, and they let the roommates know that, Lauren did actually end up conceiving when Mike got out of prison, but when she was 6.5, 7 weeks, she ended up actually miscarrying. And, it was very brave of her to come out and talk about it. To me, it's brave of any woman to come out and talk about a miscarriage because it's something that's very hard to deal with. And so I hope that the two of them end up having a baby very soon, though. Now, Mike wants to do something special for Angelina, and he wants all the roommates to gather up in Seaside one last time to celebrate Angelina's wedding, okay? And he wants all the roommates to bring a sentimental gift that means something over the past 10 years because obviously Angelina left in season 1 and then she also left again in season 2, and so she missed out on a lot that went down in Jersey Shore for the remainder of those 10 years, and so they want to do something special by bringing gifts for her who wasn't there at Mike's house. And so Jenny starts getting all blushy. She starts getting nervous, and everybody knows that it's because she has a thing for Paulie. And so everybody starts to try to convince her to take Paulie as her +1 to Angelina's wedding because both Paulie and Jenny said they weren't bringing anybody with them. Now, Paulie has a really good idea of a sentimental gift to get Angelina for over the past 10 years. He said to get her luggage. And the reason why he said to get her luggage is because in season 1, she showed up with all her stuff in trash bags, okay? She did not have luggage, and so it was a good idea. And I think that, the luggage would definitely be a good idea, and I'm interested to see what else they decide to get her. The boys decide to go to Seaside before the girls so that they can get dinner started and ready for them to show up. And then the girls are going to end up coming afterwards and bringing Angelina with them. So Vinny and Ron end up going to pick up Mike. And because his house is so huge, I don't think Mike even heard them beeping the horn outside. They were literally outside for such a long time. And you see Mike with a bunch of bags in his hand running around his house trying to make sure he has everything to get outside. Now, once he gets outside to try to put his things inside the trunk, he doesn't know how to close the trunk door, and so they end up pressing the button while Mike's head is still underneath the trunk, and the trunk door ends up hitting him right in his friggin' head. I was like, oh my god, this is a great start to their little sentimental trip to Seaside. So the episode cut there. I thought it was a pretty good episode, but I am interested to see what happens next episode because it is Angelina's wedding and a lot of drama went down to the point where she was literally yelling at the cameramen to get out of her wedding venue. So I'm interested to see what ends up happening. Obviously, we know a little bit of what went down because this has already happened, and so there was obviously clips and audio already released, but I'm interested to see what happens on this episode. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos, and thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you all, and until next time, I will see you in my next video.